I mean...
Hi, everybody, and welcome to MangaPod. Yes, Daza. Stroke it. Stroke it. Stroke it. Stroke
Doing
it.
that for the past 5 minutes.
It's gone.
Oh! Welcome to MangaPod.
It's gone.
Get business done? Is that what you said?
I asked if he got good distance.
Oh! Did you, Daza?
It's on the roof.
Did you? It's on the roof.
Oh, damn. Got good distance.
Some hella good distance right there. Hello, if you've never joined us for a MangaPod before, we are a weekly podcast in which we all get together after we read all or part of a manga, and then we discuss it with friendship, love, and lots of spoilers. And this week we're going to be discussing it with lots and lots of innuendos and jokes. So, thank you.
We read a manga entirely about masturbation.
Thank you for coming to us.
It's like coming along for the ride.
Nah!
Nice.
Yeah! Hell yeah!
Come along for the ride.
Come along. Before we get any further,
Come along.
we have a birthday boy, which is who requested the manga that we read this week, and the birthday boy is a Mr. Yokorama, whose birthday was the 30th.
Woo!
So as is tradition on MangaPod, the birthday person gets to pick whatever manga we read, and they also get sung to. So
I can't wait for this.
have you prepared your butt?
I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm going full screen.
3,
Let's go.
2, 1. Happy birthday to you. Woo! Happy birthday to you. Woo! Happy birthday,
dear
moistly. Happy birthday to you.
That was beautiful, guys.
Thank you.
That was
Happy
beautiful. That's gonna be my
birthday!
next ringtone.
Good.
For sure.
It should be.
It better be. I'll ring you next week to find out.
We're all gonna just text you constantly while we're on air. So, Yokorama, what did we read this week?
Well, we read Onani Master Kurosawa, which translates directly to Masturbation Master Kurosawa. So
Hell yeah, it does.
I'm not weird, guys. This is actually a good manga, all right?
I love you have to immediely defend yourself.
And
Disclaimer
first,
that.
We didn't read this as a
Disclaimer
joke. It's like a good.
yeah,
it's
it's
good.
real manga. It's real.
It's an okay, Mark.
and read it, and read at least past half of it. Just saying.
Gotta-
Yoku,
gotta go all
it's
the
not
way.
actually a real manga because it wasn't actually published. It's actually a doujinshi manga.
Yeah, it is actually the Jinchi,
Indie?
same as his
Indie?
other works.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were supposed to have a special guest this week, but unfortunately he could not make it. Mr. Holden Reviews, but he wants to come on some other time in the future, but we're definitely going to miss him because this is one of, or is actually his favorite. I can't remember which one it is, but he absolutely
one of-
loves
It's his favorite manga.
So you should
Definitely
go and
his favorite.
tweet him that MangaPod loves him and say, we hope you're rad. Your day is rad.
We hope.
And
you're
time
rad.
to get out of the
Hashtag
first floor
masturbation
girls'
pod.
bathroom.
Hashtag masturbation pod. Don't actually say them. It's actually you can. You know what? It's
No,
YOLO.
do it.
It's
What are you
YOLO.
talking
Do
about?
it.
You.
Do it. You'll know that it was me who said that. So yes, Dr. Daza, or do we have the birthday boy? Oh, if you've never joined us for, let me tell you what we do. Let me tell you what you do. Okay. What we do at MangaPod is before we get into a super spoilery discussion, because we are going to be talking about this manga, especially in its entirety, so there is going to be spoilers if you have not read it. We will give you a spoiler-free description, which is basically a summary, and then we'll also give you spoiler-free recommendations, which are if we recommend you go and spend time reading the manga, or if we think it's trash and you should possibly not even bother. So that is the layout for the first 5 minutes or so, possibly 10. But, Dr. Daza, you want to read? Do you want to read? You want to read a script from Daza? Thanks.
Kakeru Kurosawa is an antisocial junior high school student. He rarely associates with his classmates, and he looks down on them. But this behavior is topped off by a certain bad habit, his closely guarded secret. Every day after school, he sneaks into the rarely used girls' toilet on the 3rd floor and masturbates in a stall. Kakeru's shadowy routine remains undisturbed until one day when a diminutive squirrel girl from his class, Aya Kitahara, almost discovers him. Their meeting begins a coming-of-age story dealing with blackmail, bullying, revenge, heartbreak, and ultimately
Semen.
redemption.
Oh, okay. Same thing.
Good guess, Aaron.
Good job.
Semen.
Good job.
Semen?
Semen. It was semen, right?
Well, there's a lot of semen.
There are.
Cool. So now we do
Perfect.
recommendations?
Yes. So recommendations with Birthday Boy, you have to go first. Come on, Yoku.
Yoku, that's you.
That's
Okay,
me.
that's
I
you.
forgot.
You're the
'cause my
birthday
birthday.
boy.
My birthday was like 3 days ago or something. 4 days ago. It's kind of old story for me. But okay, so this is spoiler-free recommendations. Okay.
Yes.
Well, first off, I just want to say, like, read more than half of it because the whole series is 31 chapters, which is 4 volumes. So if you are gonna like jump into this manga, read past chapter 15, more than half of it, or just read the whole thing, because if you just read the first couple of chapters, you might be like, what is this? I'm not gonna read this. This is dumb. So definitely read more than a couple of chapters. It's really good. Kind of psychological. So if you're into psychological stories, this one is definitely one of those, and it's actually a very good one. So yeah, check it out. I recommend it. 2 thumbs up. Yep.
I agree with that. I was, I don't know how to put it. Like, I was surprised, but at the same time, I feel like I should have been surprised because everybody told me how great they thought it was. But I give it 2 thumbs up, and I absolutely loved and highly recommend it, especially if you're looking for a story that doesn't go exactly how you're expecting it to go and takes a lot of standard tropes and kind of turns them and gives a refreshing look at them. It's very psychological. It starts out, it doesn't go where you're expecting. It starts out more as like comedy, but it definitely gets darker and deals with darker themes later on, but it handles them very well. And so
Comedy?
I think it starts out, I think there's some funny elements at the beginning. That's more of like a parody of certain things, but I guess it's not hilarious. Fine, I retract that. It's not a comedy.
I don't think I laughed like I think I was going like for a bit, but I wasn't going like
Hilarious fun times.
Dark comedy. There. Hilarious.
I guess
Whoa.
very
Dark
dark,
comedy.
awkward comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, fine, guys. I retract the comedy, everybody in the chat. Sorry, I said it wrong. But,
Well, it is actually a parody manga, so.
yeah, so there. Get off my
Well, I guess
balls.
that's parodying a lot of
My
things.
balls,
I guess.
guys. But no, I loved it and honestly thought it was one of my favorite manga that we have read on MangaPod.
Ooh.
So. Spoiler alert!
It's a spoiler. Stop.
Spoilers!
That's fine.
I would say personally that Master Kurosawa is like the Death Note of masturbation, and Kurosawa is like Yagami of masturbation. That's all I need to say.
And he had a couple of moments as well. There was a couple of little moments.
That's it. Good. Good.
I really liked this manga mostly because it definitely doesn't go where you think it's going to go. It has a lot of different shifts that happen that are really interesting, and it winds up in not that many chapters. I mean, 31 chapters for an entire story is longer than some, but not as long as a lot of manga. Mm-hmm. But a lot happens in it, and the characters are great. I think that you will find yourself getting invested if you do stick with it long enough to see the changes start to happen. So, yeah, I would absolutely recommend it. I had a lot of fun reading it.
Awesome. So you've got 4. Dazzle, was yours a recommendation, or I don't really know.
That's up for interpretation.
Oh, so you have 3. Definitely go and read it, and 1 up to your interpretation. So it's like 3.5, I guess. Before you all leave, I do want to make we do want to make an announcement really quick. So we are hosted on Justin TV today, but we're gonna try and do, since we don't have a paid account here, you guys get a lot of ads while you're watching. And there's also a few things behind the scenes that are a little inconvenient with it. So next week, Derp just started humping Dickie. I was like,
Oh, good.
Speaking about masturbation.
I was like, they're just trying to fit in with the theme of the pod. It's fine. So next week we are going to just try out, it might not be official, we'll see how it works. We're going to try out doing MangaPod on youtube.com/HappiLeeErin, because there is a way to stream via XSplit onto YouTube now. So we're going to try that out. So next week MangaPod will be on youtube.com/HappiLeeErin. If it doesn't go well, then it's fine. It didn't go well, but we'll be tweeting about the location change and all of that as a reminder too. So just wanted to let you guys know before we send y'all away. Just wanted to make that quick little announcement for you guys. So there's that. But now, y'all, if you don't want to be spoils, get out. Leave.
If you don't want to find yourself in a
Sticky
sticky situation.
Uh-huh.
I thought that was really funny in my head.
Oh my god, you guys know.
That was good.
Guys, I feel a little let down by all of us, can I just say? Because not one of us in our, actually I could be wrong, I could have just blanked, but I don't think one of us in our recommendation said that this was a really good coming of age story. Did
It was in
anybody?
the synopsis.
Okay, it was in the synopsis, but I was still
was in
really
the
sad
synopsis, that's
because I was gonna be sad because we let ourselves down. We let me down. Just want you to know, everybody let me down.
Don't worry, I'll give you a hand.
Yep, there you go. Good. We're back.
Semen.
Semen.
There. We're back to neutral. All right, guys. Let's discuss.
What were your guys' expectations before you started reading Masturbation Master?
Okay, I dibs first. I thought it was going to be quite hard, but the thickness and the substance that's inside of this manga just oozes quality. And while I thought at the start that it was a bit small, it gradually got bigger and bigger and bigger until it just came together.
Yep.
I think you just
Did you just read that? Was that pre-written?
No, I made that up.
you just used up all the pawns for the rest of this.
Yeah.
podcast.
Way to leave the rest of us hanging. Here.
Don't
Definitely
worry, don't worry,
cultured.
you guys.
He didn't do it started off a little slow, but it gradually picked up pace. He didn't do any of those. But now I've done that one, so.
Explain it how you didn't.
Look, we're all screwed.
Yeah. God,
Oh.
this is gonna be the biggest letdown of an innuendo pod ever. Anybody ready?
I thought that it was going to be a super comedy. It sounded like it was going to be a whoopsie daisy oopsies sort of a story, and it wound up being a total let's delve into the psyche of kids going through puberty and watch them develop into adults. And I was like, what is this story? And it wound up being really good. It was not devoid of substance at all, the way that I expected it to be.
Yeah. I agree. I was expecting it to be actually a comedy, like a ha ha comedy.
Yeah.
But everybody had told me that it was really good and that you have to look past the synopsis of this guy jerks off in the bathroom of a girl's all the
What's he
time.
gonna do?
How's it gonna happen? And so everybody told me that I had to look past that, and I agree. But my expectations were high because everybody had told me that it was really good, and Holden was saying that it's his favorite manga, and so I had really high expectations, and I was not expecting it to hit my expectations and go beyond my expectations of it. It ended up, like you said, had a lot more substance than I was expecting, and it handled psychological dark themes a lot better than I even thought it would be able to. I thought it did a really good job of that. And I had something else that I wanted to say. And now I can't remember it. So, Yoku, you can go.
Oh, you have like an hour to remember.
Yeah, I have an hour. I'm good.
Okay, the thing is, I read this manga before, so this is not the first time I read it. That's why I kind of recommended it. But the reason actually why I read it was also because of Holden in the first place. It was a couple of years back, and I think I was just like browsing my anime list, and I went on his page, and I'm like, oh, he reads manga too, and I checked out the manga that he read, and I saw that he gave this a 10 out of 10. And then I went on, read the synopsis, and I'm just like, what? How can you give this a 10 out of 10? Like, I don't get it. Like, so that's pretty much why I read it, because I wanted to find out why he gave it a 10 out of 10. And I read like the first half, and I was just like, okay, this is just what? This is weird. He just keeps like coming everywhere. It's just it's crazy. It's just he doesn't have any boundaries. You know, I didn't know why until like the later half started, and they started like developing the characters a bit more past just him imagining them throughout his times in the bathroom, the girl stall bathroom, and I honestly did not have any expectations apart from it being super weird, and I wanted to know why Holden gave it a 10 out of 10, and I was just kind of blown away.
Ah!
I'm done.
You good?
Yeah.
I remember what I was going to say. I was going to say I was shocked by how well written the pacing was of it. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, it's 4 volumes, and they put a lot into it.
Yeah. They
it wasn't huge. Like it wasn't huge. They put there were like 20 pages per chapter mostly. So
yeah, they were relatively small. Like it wasn't
any like
whole thing.
Any of those
Decide
words.
now if you want to stay.
Yeah,
because
this is gonna
probably
be
like this.
The
It's
next
just
hour.
More and more of this.
Right here. This is gonna be the next hour.
We're gonna beat it to death.
We're gonna beat it to death. Y'all should beat it. That's what we should have said. If you don't want to be here, you should beat it.
The spoiler free, like you beat it, yeah.
Yeah, we messed it up. I messed it up. Beat it.
Beat it. No
No
one wants to be defeated.
Copyright.
Shut down.
Shut down.
But no, like the pacing of it, when I was like 16 chapters in, it felt like I had read 30 or 40 chapters for some reason for me. But like, it wasn't that it felt small or short. It was that they had shoved so much into it, but without making it feel rushed, if that makes sense.
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Does that not make sense?
Oh, no, I agree. I totally agree
Okay.
with you.
Okay, thank you.
No, I actually agree as well. It's
Yeah, like 100%
it's-
agree with
It's just making fun of the way I said it.
literally, the first few chapters are only about 30, 36 pages, and then it goes down to 21, and I'm like, really? These are really, like, the pacing was so good that you feel like you're reading a lot more than you actually are. There are some mangas like Nizekoi or Silver Spoon, which I read like one page, I'm like, oh, I'm finished. You know, where this it was like, oh, read. Oh, this is really good, and they have like the really big shots of his pants lighting up, and I'm like, that's not what it was like when I masturbate.
It reminded me of Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah,
Because,
Hisoka. He's so good.
because Hisoka, like, I don't know why he
In the
does
end,
that.
he's just like, bam.
They just always have these like big shining lights coming from his crotch, like constantly. Like, I don't understand why he's drawn that way. Why
Yeah,
the
they
shading
changed the
happens
camera
that
angle
way.
as well, that it looks like he's like doing a pelvic thrust, but really the camera angle just
Yeah,
changed.
and I'm just always like, God, you're just making him look like a pedophile. But
That's the point.
Buckets of cum, you guys. Buckets
just-
of cum.
yeah,
What do you say?
that was the first thing
Literally
I thought.
buckets.
Yeah, that's what he kind of said. He's
Yeah.
just like buckets of like literally buckets. It's so funny because like I can't control this
That part.
this urge.
Oh God, I started. This is like pretty far in, but when he's like trying to jizz into her bag and he's like imagining actually having sex with her, I was like, oh, this is so like sad and weird. But then like she literally just like disappears into a sea of semen. What is happening? I was like,
that part I was like, I felt so many emotions because it was so sad and really depressing. At the same time, you're like, is she drowning in cum?
Melting.
It's kind of funny because you felt
It's-
emotions in a situation that you never thought you would feel
Yeah.
emotions like this.
I was like, I feel so sad for this guy who's drowning the girl he's in love with in semen. Like,
in his own scene.
in his own semen.
Symbolic, guys, because like once he's jizzed, you know, the image of her wanting him is gone. Lost forever in that semen that's now in her bag.
I
Can't eat.
can't eat.
You're eating pickles, too.
Oh, I can't eat the pickle, man.
What? They're the perfect food for this.
And they're
Could've
zesty.
brought
they-
bananas.
are they whole?
Pickles, cucumbers.
Are they whole
They ran out of
pickles?
bananas in my grocery store because of the storm.
Oh.
Oh.
Of all
That's
the
the-
things,
that's-
bananas. I guess people gotta keep
I don't
their
know what people like
potassium up
potassium.
during those blizzards.
Can't.
Potassium.
They're high in protein,
Protein,
and
yep.
meat.
Uh-huh.
And
Talk
what?
about bananas, man.
And feet? Is that what you said?
Meat.
You guys don't have big, long... Oh,
What?
you get weird bananas over in America.
Our
Bananas?
bananas are hell.
We don't have bananas made out of meat, if that's what you're
Yeah.
asking.
That's a sausage.
Ah,
Which is still
that's
very,
what they call
which is still very
You still
fitting
peel them
for this
back.
manga. Oh my god, we should have all come to MangaPod eating a different, like, kind of phallic food.
We
I
didn't
did-
plan.
I
We didn't
did.
plan well enough.
I did have 2 hot dogs for supper.
You did, that's true.
Could have just held them. Held them
I
in.
had pasta.
I do... I was about to say I have a hot dog, but you guys can't see.
I got a hot dog.
What are we talking about? Like,
I
we're-
don't know.
Penises!
Penises.
Talking about
obviously.
penises, Yoko.
Penis-
I
Food.
brought up a banana, all right? That's
We
all
were
I
t-
wanted to say.
we
We're
were-
out of bananas.
Yeah, you can grab
Okay.
your banana all you like when we're finished.
Oh god. Moving on. Kurosawa. So, Kurosawa. Let's talk about him. Let's talk about the main
Masturbation
character.
Master.
I found him incredibly detestable at the beginning of this manga. I
Yeah.
don't know how other people felt. Found him incredibly detestable. And then when I actually started to care about him and sympathize with him, it was so natural. Like, I didn't question it when I started to feel differently about him. Like, as he changed, my heart just followed with him. Just followed with him. I don't know.
What part did you start to, like, care for him?
The
Like,
part,
what-
I think, I don't know if this is
When
gonna
he
be this way.
started to fall in love.
It was actually when he had his heart broken.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
wondering that like, it could be actually. There's a lot of different places in this throughout the story that you could actually start like rooting for him in a way,
There was,
or like starting to
um,
like really understand him instead of being like, oh, this guy, what the fuck is he doing? You know,
yeah,
like stuff.
when
Go
he
home.
started.
See, I think the main turning point was when he was like, "Oh, I actually think I care about her," and you kind of see that kind of changing character from.
Wait, is that
him
like when he
turning-
said?
He couldn't
Wait, is that
masturbate
when-
to her.
Was that before he jizzed in his bag, in her bag, or was that,
That was-
after?
He just in her back because.
Oh,
his
like
heart was
before
broken.
when he was when
Yeah, because he
almost
fell in
died,
love with
spoiler.
her, and you realized that he fell in love with her before
And
that.
then she
so-
started
Yeah, yeah.
dating. Yeah, and then she started dating
Oh, and she started dating broccoli guy.
broccoli head.
Fuck, man.
I
He
loved
looks so much
him.
older than a middle schooler. Like what?
That's
Yeah.
another thing. These are middle schoolers. Like, you forget about, they're middle schoolers. They're not high school students. Or
Yeah, because
anything.
they're supposed to all be going through like puberty and
Puberty.
everything.
Yeah.
And I was like,
They
oh.
play a joke on that a couple times. Even the teacher.
Yeah.
Just, oh, it's all right, man.
Yeah.
It's all right.
I know that whole
will
conversation
be
with his
boys.
teacher when he's like, "Look, I get it. You got a lot of stuff going on down there. It's whatever, dude." And I was like, "No,
Yeah.
nothing about what's been going on is okay."
Like,
and he's
he
like,
jizzed in a girl's
I used
flute.
to steal panties. It's fine." And I'm like, "No."
You only jizzed on like 15 different girls'
He
stuff.
jizzed in a girl's flute.
Yeah!
In
But
her
she never
flute.
told
Two girls
But
flew.
she didn't
She
tell.
never told
Two
anyone.
girls
No,
Yeah.
no, but no, she
No,
was
just-
the girl that demanded that her, like with her parents, that he would apologize with his
No, no,
parents.
no.
She's that.
The first one.
It was alright,
like,
alright, it was that girl.
But there was the other one as well. There was two of them.
No, he only jizzed in one girl's flute. The other girl, he was gonna jizz on her painting.
Yeah,
And then he
did-
saw Takigawa's, and he got all like, he started
Oh,
crying,
yeah.
and then I started crying. I remember it well.
Oh, when he saw her painting.
Literally buckets.
And he just was like so sobbing. I was like, oh my god, this is heartbreaking.
It's cool how that was like his just changing point, because at that point he pretty much broke when he found out that he lost her and he like jizzed in her bag, and it's just like, that's it, man. I don't care. She's like that girl. I forget her name. Ka something.
Oh, the main girl, right?
What's her name?
It's
She's supposed to be really important. Kitahara.
Kitahara.
I was gonna say it ends with Hara.
I was gonna say it
I know
starts
that.
with Keith.
Starts with Ka, ends with Hara.
We would have put
Kitahara.
it together.
All right, but yeah, when like she started coming, giving all of these requests, and he's just like, you know what? I just don't give a shit what happens. I don't care what happens to me. I'm just gonna whatever. Screw it. Like she doesn't love me anymore. Or whatever. He pretty much was completely.
He definitely
broke.
screws it.
He screws everything.
Screws it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So seeing that picture completely, just because that was one of his most memorable moments of I guess his childhood, since he is like a middle schooler. So that's one of his most memorable moments, and just remembering that brought him and completely changed him, brought back everything and changed him, and made him pretty much the person that he never thought he would be, because he was pretty much the opposite of that before.
I thought that the mangakas did a really good job with his dialogue, his inner dialogue, and how they told the story from him and his voice. Yeah. Like, I was just thinking about Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya, like that. When I compare, they're completely different, but when you're just comparing like the inner dialogue of the two protagonists, and you're just looking at the differences, it's just, I felt so much more empathy, and like I could see what Kurosawa was going through. Like, I just felt his emotions so much more just because of how well written his character was.
Well, most of this story was inner dialogue, though, compared to how Haruhi, there was a lot of other stuff, but yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Speak about Haruhi. I loved all the references to Haruhi.
Yeah, there were a lot of Haruhi. There was a lot of other references to different shows.
The Lelouch one was the
They
best.
even did like the
Lelouch.
Haruhi Yukai from the ending, which was like fantastic.
Oh, that's right. They did? I remember somebody saying that. There was all the Death Note references too.
I didn't.
Everything's coming to plan.
Everything's. You didn't get the Death Note references?
I didn't notice any references in this at all.
There were
she hasn't seen Code Geass.
I've never seen Code Geass.
There was a lot of like just the way like Kurosawa was drawn, where he was supposed to mimic light. Like, there was like supposed to be a big like kind of parody with Death Note. Like, a bunch of people apparently call it Fap Note.
I would say that.
That's pretty good.
Naturally.
That's a good.
And Catcher in the Rye was another thing it was supposed to be.
Catch her in the eye.
Catch her in the eye.
Oh, god damn it. I never hated Kurosawa, just because, like, I don't know, he just, like, knowing that he's in middle school, and like it's not that uncommon for someone's fantasies to be like on the aggressive side. I was just like, you know, these are your fantasies, you're not actually doing these things. And then once it turned into like, I need to make sure nobody ever finds out that I do this, so I guess I'll jizz on some stuff to make you happy so you don't tell people that I do this. Like, I was like, okay, that sucks, but I guess, like, I didn't hate him, but I also didn't love him. I was just kind of like, I don't know what to do with you. And then when he had so many emotional turning points where he just stopped being like an emo little dick, I was just like, you're getting so interesting now. Like, just having, I keep trying to avoid using this term, but
do it.
Like, he's just having so many coming of age moments.
I know.
And it's just like making me so happy, like him falling in love for the first time and then getting his heart broken, and then, you know, realizing that being on his own isn't the best thing for him, and that, you know, the way that he's been acting has actually been making his life worse. Like, just so many things that he realizes in such a short period of time, but it is paced really well. And I was just like, oh, Kurosawa. And I did love that, like, till the point where he confesses to everyone, he has this like dark shadow over this half of his face all the time. Like he always looks angry and just dark and like, and then after he confesses, even though he's getting beat up all the time, like his whole face is brighter. And I thought that was, I mean, it's a really simple thing to do, but I thought that it was interesting.
Yeah, he's drawn. He looks a little bit more innocent after he confesses. Like the way he's drawn, he has a little bit more naive look to him.
Actually, everything his whole look changes. Like even the way he like walks, his posture isn't kind of like walking depressed, kind of like looking down. He's just like walking, you know. Even though he has like bandages all over his face because he's getting beat up. But
but it's like he suddenly has nothing to hide.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I thought that, like, you were talking about how he has so many different coming of age moments. What I loved about the pacing of his character is that the person you see at the beginning of the story compared to who you see at the end, like, there's still some essence of him being the same person, but it's a completely believable personality growth, if that makes sense. Like, it doesn't, when you see him at the end in the last chapter, you're not like, this isn't him, like, this feels so forced, this is really stupid, whereas it's a very realistic, like, when you compare who you are in middle school to who you are, like, even at the beginning of high school, it's just, everybody's kind of
it can be a huge difference,
just because of that maturity, like, not just like, the growth that happens in those years.
And the one of the moments where I actually physically was like, just like so happy was that I spent the entire manga wanting him to like honestly accept Broccoli Guy as like his friend. And then like when no one else in the world would talk to him and he was literally on his own and he was like, do you want to stretch together? And he just looked so like overwhelmed. And I was like, oh, be friends forever.
There was a few moments before that when the Broccoli Guy wasn't like 100% sure because he was just kind of like, he had that like really sad like puppy look.
Yeah.
I loved that too. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh, all I was gonna say is I also loved that like we saw the aftermath of him admitting everything from his point of view for like a while, and then we saw the same stuff but from other people's points of view, and I thought that it was really interesting how many people, like he felt so alone, but the people that he was closest to were so eager to like interact with him still. Like, even when he was getting beat up and going through everything, like, all of them wanted so badly to just, like, know that he was okay. Even if they couldn't forgive him, like, just know that he was going to be okay. And I was like, oh.
Yeah.
So sad.
See, a lot of the progression of story and as well the main character really reminds me of, I don't know if you watched it, but Origuru or My High School Romance Snafu.
Oh my god, I watched the first 2 episodes!
I've seen the first episode.
There's so many good gifts from that show.
Like the main guy, I think his name's Hatchikin, I think. I can't remember. It's forever ago. They're really similar besides the whole masturbating to girls.
That difference.
It's a big difference.
So I could really relate to that and the whole not liking the world he's living in, and then growing up having a lot of issues. I mean, yes, it's exaggerated and really go to girls' bathrooms and masturbate into them, but I kind of understood. Well, I didn't. You put a face on
midway.
Didn't.
I understand that feeling.
In the girls' bathroom, okay.
So I can kind of understand, and especially when you have those random moments when he's in love with
Takigawa.
What's her face?
Takigawa.
Yeah, and he's just like, I can't control my penis.
Yeah.
What is this love? And I'm like, I can kind of relate to that in some extent.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't have just
not
a
the whole
boner.
shining
that was
penis.
That was
like a
boner.
furious boner.
Yes. He had to get to the bathroom.
I maybe didn't.
That
was a love boner.
He threw up on it.
My penis is reacting to her. Is this love? It's great. Dazza, go on.
So I thought his character. I actually really liked his character. Mm-hmm. You know, as a character, I didn't like him as a personality.
Yeah.
But I liked him as a
I
character.
agree with that.
Yeah.
You know, and his growth throughout the series was fantastic, and it really reminded me of Onigiri. So Origuru. That's right. Yeah.
You know what was something else that I loved that you almost never see is I loved that there were two people that you thought maybe they're supposed to be the love interest. And like one of them wound up never being a love interest. One of them was a love interest that he never got with. They, like, broke his heart and they wound up being friends and it was like, okay. And then a girl who's been there the entire time but was never on your radar as a love interest wound up being a love interest at the end. And I was like, that's so much more realistic than it being like, she broke up with that guy and now you get to be with the love of your life. Congratulations. Like, that's not how it works. And I loved that that's how it happened because that is far more realistic than the way it's normally depicted.
I agree.
Yeah, I really like that. Because you do, like, I remember back in those years where I was just like, with a girl, and she's like, oh, she's so pretty, I love her so much. And then, you know, she's going out with someone. I remember lots of those.
Aw, Daddy.
Anyway, but going with the girl that you meet on the train and you just hang out with, even though you know her, like, you had problems with her in the past, maybe I wouldn't think that she'll date someone who came in her pants, but...
Right.
It was her
I don't
shirt.
think that
I'm
part's
pretty sure it
realistic.
was her shirt.
It's her uniform.
Whatever.
The whole thing.
Still.
He
I
came
feel like
in her
of
pants.
anybody that was gonna forgive him, like the people that constantly were messing with other people, you know, like the girls that were just trying to ruin everybody's life because they were bored.
Yeah.
I feel like they're the ones who are gonna be like, all right, I mean, you jizzed on our stuff, but whatever. Like, I guess we're cool now.
YOLO.
Well, I don't think if he jizzed in her flute, like, I think she would not.
No.
forgive
Yeah.
him for that. That's like the next step.
That was
She's
nasty.
no, that's not nope.
That was just.
Oh my god, can you imagine that? Can you imagine being that
Pick
girl?
up a flute and
That
blowing
made me
into it,
so.
and
That
then,
was
like,
Oh god.
I
literally.
was super. That was like the one moment when I was super grossed out. I was
Yeah.
like, nope,
Like
nope,
the
nope,
the
nope.
fantasized rape scene. I was like, okay, it's, you know, I understand, but the flute.
It's a fantasy.
It's a
whatever.
fantasy. Yeah, I was accepting of it. Then the semen in the flute was like, hell no, and just had
Yeah.
to take a breather.
She just walks away.
That's a literal blowjob right there.
That is
Oh, Dazza.
Flute job, man.
it's a flute job. I thought that was funny.
No, but that was
Hey,
like
you can blow
that
into
end-
my flute anytime.
Blow into my. Oh no.
Can you blow
Yes,
my-
Yokus? Uh-huh.
That's right. I'm sorry, that song is too much flutes and stuff. Okay. What was I gonna say?
Your mind got caught up with the flute.
Oh yeah, the
jizz.
girl, that ending romance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back when I read it the first time and I read it the second time, that was like pretty much the second time when I was reading it. That was what I was looking forward to the whole time I was reading. Like for that
Aw.
last few chapters, for that development to happen, because that was really cool. And then like that, like if like it actually feels like the story ends on chapter 30. That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
But then we have chapter 31 where, you know, we have that reunion and the rest of this. Was that chapter 30 with the reunion?
That was 31.
No,
Yeah.
sure.
No, it was at 30.
That was 31?
Reunion happened in 30.
Yeah, that was
it
30.
30.
That's what it
30,
felt like it was
31.
ending.
'Cause
30, no,
30
31 was
31.
already...
31 was
later,
kind of like an
after high school.
epilogue. 31
Yeah.
was kind
No,
of like
yeah,
an epilogue.
30 was when they... It was like half a year or a year or whatever, a little
Yeah.
bit after they graduated middle school, but 31 was already when they were graduating high school, practically. So that was kind of cool. Like there was even more, I guess. It was kind of like a time skip in a way. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
it was kind of cool that like even though it felt like it could have ended with chapter 30, it was really nice that he added something like that because it kind of ended it ended it on a very like sweet ending. And I also like that it didn't just
It was a
end like,
happy
oh,
ending.
yeah.
Yep.
No, the thing is, I like that he didn't just end like, oh, I'm in love with her. That's it. Like, oh, she's the one. Like, I like that he's like, oh, like even though that it might not work out because like she's totally like opposite of me, and it's kind of, I don't know, it depends like what's gonna happen. I have no idea. I don't want to miss out on this chance, and I'm just gonna kind of go for it. You know, that was kind of cool that it didn't just end like a little fairy tale ending. They kept it real, like they did throughout the
Yeah.
whole series.
Yeah. It was a very, it spoke to her maturity as a character, too. Because there are so many people who in, like, middle school are bullies and brats and bitches, and then they change as they, like, mature and get into high school. Like, they're like I was saying, like people in high school are completely different than who they are in middle school, and like you see those relationships change between people. Where in middle school you're like, oh God, they would never ever get together. Like I saw it a lot because I went to school kindergarten through graduation with the same people, with the same class of 150 people, all 12 years. And so you saw that change, and it's never like sudden. It's very gradual. So like you're able to accept it easier because it's like such a gradual change. But like it's that thing where you just see people change and grow up. It's good growing up story. I like it. Yeah.
Coming of age.
I tried to avoid it, but there's like nothing else you can say.
You gotta say it. Growing up story? What is that?
It's a good growing up story.
Oh,
He's
no.
erected as a character.
Can we talk about Kitahara? We
Yes.
haven't really talked about her at all.
Yeah, I was gonna bring her up next. Let's see what your guys' thoughts on her.
I thought she was the most interesting character out of anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, I don't know, she was such an interesting representation of somebody who's been just beaten down their whole life and just has all this anger. And I thought that she was such a tragic character, and I was so glad that we got an ending with her.
Yes.
Because like just watching her be so angry and filled with so much just desire for revenge on anybody, and then like it broke my heart when she got pushed to the point where she just like cut her own hand with her wood knife, and I was just like, no, and then she just never came back to school. I was like, no, what's gonna happen to you? And I was so glad that they came back to her and it wasn't just we never saw her again.
Yeah.
So I would have been like, are you kidding me?
Yeah,
That's
and it was
the
crazy.
saddest thing.
The first time I was reading that happened like towards the end of the series as well. You're kind of like sitting there like, wait, like this is like chapter 28 or something. Like,
It was very
we only have
close
like
to the
a
end,
couple
yeah.
of chapters left. Like, how are they gonna wrap this story up? Like, there's so much stuff to wrap up still. So and they did it really well with Kitahara and stuff.
I think they didn't really wrap up her story all that much.
Well, they wrapped up after the fact, after she like stabbed herself, and then we did get a little backstory of what happened during that time as well. When she was gone,
Yeah.
how she became a shut-in because he talked to the mother. The mother even broke down crying, and that she even tried to like kill herself or she cut herself. I don't
Tried
know.
to kill herself like 5 different times.
Yeah, 5 more
Yeah,
times. or
so
something.
like she was in a very bad situation, and the main
I
character.
was.
we see her on the platform in a school uniform,
Yeah, that's on the chapter 31.
which I liked.
Yeah.
I liked that like
Yeah.
she got the strength to try to start her life over, and I was like, yay.
It was a new beginning.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I like how they handled like the bullying and the depression and her anger and her suicide attempts. It wasn't something that was handled lightly. It wasn't played off as a joke. Where like a lot of people I've seen like got a lot of Welcome to the NHK vibes from this series, which I could definitely see that. But like whereas in Welcome to the NHK, the manga, I haven't seen the anime. In like the manga, that stuff was dismissed as a joke and used as a joke so often, where it was really nice to see in this that it was serious. And then like the fact that she left the house, that it wasn't just, oh, she's leaving finally. It was her mom like breaking down and being
that was a very
so
crazy
proud
moment.
of her and very happy for it and grateful that somebody was
She's
there
like, what's your
with their
guys'
hand out.
relationship?
Yeah.
We're cut from the same cloth.
I know that was
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
I also just really loved their fight that happened, like after he had confessed, and and he was like trying to encourage her, and she like flipped out at him.
Was that in the bathroom or already?
No, when they were in their classroom and they were both cleaning all of the graffiti off of their desks.
Yeah.
And she started, yelling at him like, I'm not like you. I can't just forgive. Like I've got too much anger in me. I literally want these people to die.
Yeah.
Like I thought that was really interesting because I think a lot of times it's portrayed that people are people and we're all the same. And like if one person can overcome something in a certain way, then everybody can, and it's not true.
No.
And I thought that it was interesting The way that they handled that with her just being very honest, like, I can't just get over this. You know, I can't just change the way that you're changing. Like, it's not possible for me. And I think that that helplessness, especially in middle school, I think that that helplessness is extremely real.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just feeling like nothing's ever going to change and nothing will ever get better.
Yeah.
And I was glad that they touched on that, even if it was sad.
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest moments with that whole relationship was when he gave her the hug as well.
Yeah.
Like, it was something that you wouldn't expect from him. Like, going up and just, like, giving her a huge hug. And that's, of course, what forced her out. And
Well, I
think
guess
she just
you
didn't
could
understand.
kind of expect it at that point because of how much he's changed. And he did spend like a month every day going there to her house, talking.
Yeah, but I don't know. It was just...
She
we didn't really
definitely
see
did not
that,
expect it. She didn't.
Oh, no.
So.
But it was kind of like, oh, we didn't expect it from him. But it was something that was going to be built up. And with her, you just saw the change in her face as soon as it happened as well. You could just saw the shock and the care, I think, on her face, that she actually felt that he cared for her, which was really good. Something that we hadn't seen from her at all, at least.
Yeah.
So
It's a recurring theme throughout the entire story about how, no matter how hard it is, like there's times where you can be so appreciative of the fact that people don't give up on you. About how sometimes what people need is just a helping hand, and maybe they won't accept it the first 100 times, but then if you keep on offering it, they're gonna eventually come to accept it. Hopefully. I mean, maybe they won't, but it's
Yeah.
just the idea of like forgiveness and always being willing to reach out and help somebody that they may not be willing to admit it to themselves that they need help, but the fact that you're reaching out and always trying to help them, and how
But she kept saying to
important
him,
that
like,
is.
nobody's gonna want to see me. Like, what's the point of going there? They're gonna think of me as that girl that just stabbed herself and then just disappeared. But he's like, no, like, I'm here. Like, I care. You know?
Yeah.
I've been
Yeah.
coming here all
and it
this
also
time.
And he's the guy who
Also-
jizzed on everybody's stuff, and
Yeah.
he's going. It's like, come on.
Gah!
Like, you're known for that. I'm known for the guy that like did so much shit. It's horrible.
Yeah.
there's also like Sugawa as well, how she was like, oh, I want to see her to kind of make amends for my
Yeah.
problems in middle school, which was huge for her because she was the delinquent. So that was huge character motivation as well, which I thought was really cool.
I also like that the whole relationship between Kitahara and what's the main guy's name? Kurosawa. It wasn't like a romantic relationship.
Yes.
Ever. Yeah.
Like it was
Never.
all like complete just like friendship, and that's also kind of cool because like it showed that they could be friends even though she was male and he was female, and they could still actually be friends, because it's one of the biggest things people say that like guys and girls can't be friends, like it's impossible, you know.
Yeah.
But they even had different feelings for different girls at one well, different girl and different boy at one point. And then like
at
even
that point, I would argue that at that point they weren't friends, though.
Yeah,
like
I
they
would say
interacted a
friendship.
lot, but
they
they
were
were not
acquaintances.
friends.
I guess yeah, that's true.
I
But
would
even
say
like
friends, yeah.
even though he cared for her so much, he even though made that joke like, oh, even Afro Man's gonna be there, you know, you can like say that you like them and go laugh about it, like. So it's kind of cool. Like they never became like romantic, you know. It's that was, I guess, maybe not really a big thing, but I kind of found that interesting because they could have
Yeah.
done that. It could have been like, oh, he's my savior. He cared for me all this time. I love him. Come kiss
Yeah,
me.
which is what like come and kiss me. I agree, because that's what like when I was talking earlier about how it takes a lot of stereotypical tropes that you're totally expecting. Well, you've seen them before. You're expecting where they're gonna go. Like there were so many little twists on those that you are happy to see that they made it a little bit more refreshing. Like with you were expecting him to end up with Takigawa, and then when that didn't work out, you're expecting him to end up with Kitahara, because that's just how you've seen it in countless of manga before. And I absolutely love the fact, like you all were saying, that that's not how it happened, and he ended up, like you said, Dodger, with somebody you weren't, and like the furthest back in your mind, you wouldn't even like guessed that was gonna happen.
I was like, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the fact, I think one of the biggest shocks for me personally was a lot of times when you have somebody being blackmailed by something, or like a lot of time it's like sex stuff, they're being blackmailed, like I'll talk about this about your dirty secret.
Akunohana.
Akunohana. Yeah. Any sort of story with a politician who is like running for office and the following team needs a competitive team.
You banged a hooker. I'll tell everybody. I have video evidence.
Yeah, all of that. The fact, like, I was a lot of times thinking, how is it going to come out? How's it going to come out? How is it going to be found out by everybody? And the fact that he is the one who admitted it, I wasn't expecting that. I was not expecting him to admit it, and being, just because of the character we saw of him at the beginning, he was kind of cowardly in the way, like, I mean, he went about it in that he doesn't need people, he doesn't need friends, he's like fine with his daily routine of jerking off in the bathroom.
Well, Kitahara definitely didn't expect it, because she was just like, what?
Yeah,
what?
Like,
are you crazy?
But exactly, like, you're not expecting it from him at all, and it was just such a big turning point. Like you guys were saying, he has so many different turning points of his character, and that was a huge one that I was not expecting at all. I was expecting him to feel regret and want to just feel a heavy regret and just heartbroken and guilt over what he did, but I was not expecting him to do that, like step out and have the courage to do that, I guess.
And accept everything without holding back as well.
Like never being like, this isn't fair, what's happening.
It's like damn, like that girl that you just into the flu, like the parents and her, they want an apology from you and your parents.
He's like, all right.
He's like, okay.
He's like, yeah, bring it on. And he's
Tell
just
my
like,
parents.
What?
Yeah.
Heck no, I did it, so I gotta
See,
pay the
I think the teacher actually never thought that he did it, because I think the teacher would have just been like, well, you've obviously apologized in front of the whole class, you're taking all this bullying, you're happy about it, and you want me to tell your parents. Clearly, you didn't do it. I was just waiting for that moment where he's like, I don't think he did it. He never said that, but
yeah,
I don't
that's
think
kind of the vibe
that.
I got from him.
Yeah.
No, I just thought he was just completely shocked that he admitted all this. I thought that was just the whole thing. He was just like, yeah, like he tried to compare him to him, like he tried to give him some pity, but like, yeah, I used to hide underwear. Like, I don't know.
He did the whole boys will be boys kind of a thing, if you think about it. He was just like dismissing. He's like, we all go through it. Like, boys will be boys.
Yeah, he said that multiple times.
Yeah,
he said multiple times throughout that, actually. There was like 2 or 3 times where he said that, like, we understand that you guys are going through these changes, so come forth.
Yeah, so that's an interesting take on that, too. Come forth and prosper.
Come forth.
And so, yeah, that's an interesting take on that idea, too, where Kurosawa's like, it's not an excuse. It's just to say, I'm just going through puberty and all of that. He, like, was willing to take on all that bullying.
I also thought it was interesting that he never, ever, that we know of, he never told anybody that Kitahara was involved at all.
Exactly. Yeah.
He literally took all the blame for all of it.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, that's I expected him to eventually tell somebody, and he never did in the manga. I was like, huh. Interesting.
What was I going to say? I had something.
I don't know, Erin. I don't know.
Let's talk about Takigawa a little bit more. What were your guys' when she was first introduced to when we last saw her? Like, what were your guys' take on her?
I didn't trust her at all.
I thought she was the first time. I thought she was gonna be like one of those like he and then like her sneaky bitches, sneaky bitches.
What? Wait,
you know what I mean? Sneaky bitches.
Stinky bitches?
Sneaky
bitches.
Sneaky. That's stinky.
I think
maybe
stinky. Stinky bitches.
Maybe
like,
I don't know
what
if
is
it's stinky.
that?
It's a manga I'm reading. I can't smell through the pages, but who knows? But seriously, she had that thing in her eye where she just kind of like looked like.
It
she was,
seems
like, staring
suspicious,
off.
right?
Yeah, she seems very suspicious.
That she was like this hot, popular girl who was like, I'm going to hang out with the nerds. And I was like, this is going to turn out really bad. But then she literally just wound up being this sweet, wonderful girl.
Yeah.
Who literally just wanted more friends.
That's kind of, again, that's another one of those moments where you, like, it turned out like the opposite of what you expected in a way.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I thought she was really cute, and I loved that she was yet another representation of how people can be in the same sort of situation but be completely different. Like how she was saying that she was a total wallflower, like had no friends, kept to herself, and then just decided one day that she wanted friends. And so she just like changed everything about herself to give her the encouragement to talk to people.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, normally in a story I would be like, oh, it sucks that like you changed so many aspects of yourself so that you would be accepted. But I thought that within the context of, you know, I started dressing better, I started making myself look nicer so that I had the confidence.
Just putting more
to
effort
feel-
in a way.
To feel like I could talk to people and not have a panic attack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I get it. You know?
It's a bit different when someone's trying to make themselves better than make themselves be better for someone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think she was
Like,
faking her personality. That's her real personality.
No.
That's the kind of person she was. She just had to, I guess, put a little
Just
bit more
to have the
effort into
confidence
herself
to,
just so
like-
she could have more confidence. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
See, the one part where she was going out with Broccoli Head dude, and she started like calling him Kyonkun, and then had like the Haruhi hair, that's when I was kind of like, that's a bit weird. I didn't like that too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like
Right?
Kurosawa.
Because
No, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
because I was about to say, because you always see those people in like school who quote things and you're just like, shut up, don't do that, it's weird. Stop
Well,
that.
She's dating the number 1 otaku in class 4.
I love the quoting. If anybody quotes things, you're my favorite person. Like, I love that. I love when people walk around and quote shit. That's like the best.
I love when
Same.
people quote shit.
Now you guys know the way to Yoku's heart.
It's quoting shit.
If you quote like The Office or like Community, I'll give you a high five. So just saying.
Yeah, I like there wasn't a point even where I like didn't like her character. I thought it was adorable. I liked all of the characters. Like I should just say that. I really, really liked all of the characters. And even at the end, I really enjoyed her. And I liked the fact that her and Broccoli were still dating and that they showed little scenes of them together.
I
It
know.
was so cute. And
Yeah.
just how, because at first you're like, I don't know, like it doesn't make sense. But then as they talked about how their relationship developed and how they became friends, it was natural. You're like, I accept this very easily. It's very realistic and adorable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it was kind of messed up of her. And I don't know if
I
like
mean,
to even
she
say
had to
to even
have
say
known.
naive.
Yeah.
The way
That's
she
true.
just like
Yeah.
and the way at the
forgot
end
about
she's just
that.
like, oh, you just wait till tomorrow. Like
Yeah.
wait. He's just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's a little bit. That
That's
was
true.
a little
She
bit
did feel
messed
little
up.
like it did feel like she was leading him on at a lot of parts. But then
But she was
again, could
really
it be-
naive in a way.
then-
She's just kind of like, he's my friend.
Could it be that he kind of, oh God, what's the right word? He made it bigger in his
No.
head because we were seeing it from him that he might have sensationalized her.
No, because
So
we
because
didn't
they-
see it in his head because we saw their actual conversation. Like
They
we saw his thoughts
They
afterwards,
spent
but they were
so much
Okay.
one-on-one time together in the library.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
he specifically said like, oh, she never used to just like hang out in the library before. Like she was coming there specifically to hang out with him.
yeah, and saying like, "Oh, you're the first boy I've
You're
ever
the first boy
talked
I've
to."
Yeah.
ever talked to about this stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I was
It
Yeah.
did seem like
that
that.
too.
Yeah. No, I agree.
But-
I agree with all of you. I was just curious to see. If
That's
you
just
saw
that's I
that.
guess
it
you
was
can
just an
blame
idea.
you can blame her naiveness because she's still young, very very young,
Yeah.
and she recently just gained the confidence that she doesn't completely, I guess,
Mm.
understand how to. So you kind of blame that and not really her, but still, it was messed up, man.
Yeah.
See, on one hand,
Yes.
that can kind of like bring back the whole, oh, she was just being nice to him and he took it the wrong way
Yeah.
as well. You know, because she never really said, oh, I like
She gave
you, that's why
hints.
I'm
There was
keeping-"
hints. There was hints. She
Oh,
could have
yeah, it
just
was
said.
definitely
She
There
could have
was-
said like,
yeah.
"Yeah, I'm talking about the broccoli
Right.
head. I'm talking about broccoli,
Like,
not you."
I can clearly
You're cool.
say there are girls out there who give off the hints of dating and flirting and stuff, but then when you go out and ask them, they're like, no, that's not how it was ever been.
No, I like
It's
broccoli
"Oh,
head. Sorry. Dazzle, the broccoli head always wins.
The
Okay?
broccoli head always wins.
Yeah, I mean like I think from her perspective it was I've never had a friend that I could talk to about these
Yeah.
interests. And she finally had a friend that shared those interests.
Yeah.
The thing that I found unbelievable was I think that regardless in that situation, regardless of whether or not she had the confidence or the bravery to be like, hey, just so you know, I only like you as a friend. Mm-hmm. Like she never had that moment. And I was like, well, I mean, that's all for somebody to be like, I think that he likes me and I don't want to lead him on, but he's like turning into a great friend. Like, I don't want to ignore him. You know, what do I do?
Yeah.
The thing that I found unbelievable was when she wound up dating the other dude and she acted like, what's wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, you know what's wrong.
No.
Like it's
You're-
fine,
you're
but that never
At least she
came
could have
up.
used
I
common
get it,
sense.
but-
Yeah.
She could have used common
Yeah,
sense to
like,
think of
but
that.
don't
Yeah, but
flaunt it
you
in his
also-
face when he's obviously liked you.
Yeah.
You know.
She
Yeah,
could
I
have. She
thought
could have
you
like,
also-
okay, it kind of makes sense. Like, okay, like before I dated Broccoli Head, we were totally cool. Now he won't come to the library.
Yeah, she could have put
What's
two and
up?
two together with that one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, right?
now he's not talking to Broccoli Head
You
either.
won't talk to
He won't
either of them.
Yeah.
He won't stretch with them.
Huh, guys?
What could it mean?
You do have to remember though, they are 14 years old.
Yeah.
That is true. That's where the childness.
You know, we're thinking of like as 20-year-olds thinking back. Like I know, like guys and girls at 18 can't put that stuff together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you can't think of a 14-year-old to do the same thing, especially one that's in love and just doesn't understand really.
First time in love, and he's just kind of like, oh, I don't know what's going on. I just threw up after.
Yeah.
She's the one. I was like,
No. Let's talk about art. So we haven't touched on art other than like talking about it like here and there.
Love it.
What are your guys'
I love
thoughts on the art?
sketchiness. I love the sketchiness of it. It was like sketch. So
Love
it
it.
fit the mood. It fit the like Dodger said. Like how he had like the kind of dark lines above like the half of his face because like he was completely like in his own little world and he just didn't care about anybody else. That whole sketchiness definitely added, and it got a little bit cleaner towards the later parts and like towards the end. Especially, so that definitely added to the atmosphere at least, you know, because if in an anime, usually like when something like dramatic happens, they usually do like little sketchy stuff, but he
Yeah.
kind of played around with that pretty well. I enjoyed that a lot,
yeah.
Yeah.
but I think that was due, like half of that was due to the fact that it wasn't real manga, as Daza said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's,
It was
Technically a
But it worked for
Yeah.
him. It worked.
Yeah.
that's okay. It was still great.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
loved it. I liked how it looked like a little unpolished, but like it looked unpolished, but in a way that it wasn't bad. I don't know. It didn't
Not
seem
to a point that you
it didn't
understood
seem
everything.
immature. Like it didn't seem. What's the word? Oh God.
Unprofessional.
No. It's like what happens at the very beginning when somebody is first starting to learn something, and it seems.
I know what you're thinking.
Novice.
Novice! Novice! It didn't
Oh,
seem.
yeah,
it didn't
did
seem
it.
novice. Thank you, friend.
You're welcome.
It didn't seem novice. Just felt like unpolished, but in a way that just it added to the entire atmosphere of it. I loved the art so much.
He kind of used his budget, I guess, to his advantage or whatever.
Dude.
Well, lack of budget.
Yeah, lack
The
of budget.
way that he drew hands was fucking awesome. Every time somebody was like doing something cool with their hands, I was just like,
Yeah.
just staring at them because they were so well drawn. Just like, sorry.
No, you said that, and I was just like, especially that part where you like, it was a little bit more in depth with him showing him like jacking off.
Yeah, that was that one
That was
part.
the one thing I thought of. I was like,
That grip.
Aaron wants
that
the D.
grip.
I want the D. I love looking at
The
this.
handy D.
The-
Or the
sorry.
handy J. Am I right?
what?
What?
The hand job. The handy J.
Okay.
Come on, guys.
I was gonna say handy David, but what?
Handy David. David is quite handy. He's great. He fixes like showers and stuff when they break.
Bet he does.
Going. Where is this going? Stop.
Anyway, oh no, I thought at the start I wasn't really convinced with the art.
Yeah.
Like I was reading and I'm just like I'm not entirely sure if I like this art or not because it was very parody kind of looking art, and it wasn't polished. And I like my art polished and clean and really nice. Like, I think Nizukoya has the best art. You know, the story may be unforgiving, but the art is beautiful. And I just thought the art in this was not good, honestly. And I don't want to be like, oh, but it makes sense with the story, or it forgives it because the story is so great. It's still not exactly up there, in my opinion. And if we're going to score it along with everything else, it'll definitely get a lower score.
Yeah.
I mean, on its own, as a doujinshi, yeah, it's quite decent, but I've seen a lot better doujinshi than this, like way better. So
That's
Yeah.
understandable.
I wasn't exactly happy with it.
That's understandable. Sweet. Art.
But it was clear. It was everything was clear. There wasn't really like moments where you would be like, "What's going on? What are these lines? This is like it was all like there pretty much. I guess it just didn't have those clean lines.
Yeah.
I guess that's the only. That's the
And
only.
there was some
thing.
parts I thought that looked like they'd been drawn by a texter as well,
A texter?
personally. Yeah,
Text
like
message?
a texter.
Text message.
Text
Texter.
message. It's just them.
Just
Do you guys
You mean
know
like-
don't know what a
Your face!
texter
Oh,
is?
you mean like the translator texter?
No,
What are
it's
you
like
talking-
somebody
No.
who helps with manga. Helps.
No,
right?
no, a
I
texter.
don't
Like,
know. I just said something.
oh god.
Like textiles?
This is
Like
totally
textiles?
Testes? The
No, no, no.
Testes?
A texter
Like
is like
Texas?
oh god. What do you call it? It's
Everything's,
like a highlighter,
everything's bigger in Texas.
but it's got like ink, and it's like a drawing, coloring thing tool.
Oh!
It's like a coloring
Bamboo?
Guys,
tool.
you know
Is it
what's-
called bamboo?
You know
Bamboo?
what's great?
Bamboo?
like a Copic marker?
No. Is it bamboo? You
It's like a
connect it to
marker.
your-
Like a marker. Yeah, like a marker.
I'm lost.
Gosh
God.
dang it, I typed. No, wait, it's right here. I see it. It's right here, right? A texter marker? Texta?
Yes, a texter marker.
Okay, if you guys Google,
Google imaging this. Shut up.
you'll get a lot of people texting BTM.
It's a
Yeah, I was gonna
texter.
say.
Texter.
People are
Texter.
like, what?
Not a texter.
I'm
Life
like,
It's a
hacker.
texter. Over here.
That's my first-
Texta. Texter.
texta.
There's texter.
Oh, texta.
Oh, whoops. Oh yeah, no, I spelled it right.
Alright, what were we
Ceci
talking
n'est
about?
pas une texta.
Texta.
Oh god.
Texta.
Yeah, they're markers.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
are. It could just say
Marker.
markers.
They're markers.
Like crayon.
Could have just said markers, Daza.
Well, I'm sorry, they're called texters here. I wasn't sure. Yeah, if your American brains couldn't comprehend that, it's not my fault.
I couldn't comprehend that. Yes, I'm
Couldn't
sorry.
comprehend it.
Right.
Let's since we've come up on an hour here, let's wrap up and give our final thoughts and ratings, and then we will also announce what we're reading next week.
Ah.
Does anybody want to go first? I can go
I'll go
first.
I'll go last.
Okay.
Yoku's gonna go last. Like I said at the beginning of the MangaPod, this was one of my favorite manga that we have read on MangaPod, and it had everything that I love, and it did it right. Like, it had brilliant pacing, in my opinion, both in terms of storytelling and in terms of character development. The character development was amazing. It took so many different things. It took all of my expectations towards where I thought the plot was going, and it just completely twisted them in ways that were much more depressing and heartbreaking than I was expecting it to be. And so, and like I said, the characters were wonderful. I thought the art was pretty good, and so I'm gonna give it a higher score. I'm gonna give it a 9.5 because it was
Wow.
it was, in my opinion, one of the, like, it did in 31 chapters what so many series can't do in like 100 plus, in my opinion. And I thought it was just incredibly well paced and incredibly well written, and I thought the rise and fall and rise again of the main character was just wonderfully done and really realistic. So I'm gonna give it a 9.5 because it was one of my favorite and thought it was brilliant. So Masturbation Master. I guess I'm gonna give it a 9.5. I'll say that. Let's bring that back. Let's bring the 9.5 hardness back, shall we?
Yeah, we might as well.
The dick
right?
meter. We should use the dick meter, obviously.
Dick meter.
Dick meter. 9.5 on the dick meter.
Cool. I would.
We need like a really bad drawing of
Just-
and then like bring it like into a 9.
As it grows, as it gets harder, it's like it hits the score. Okay, I'm done. So let's start here.
I would give it an 8.5, I think. I really enjoyed it. I thought that it was really, really fun. And I would absolutely recommend it. I do think that one of its big flaws is that the beginning feels a little weird and repetitive, but then it, like everybody was saying, it totally betrays your expectations and turns into something totally different that I loved and I thought was really interesting. But I do think that it's the sort of manga where you have to read a little bit more. You might not be hooked right away because it's weird. It's a weird manga. So, but I definitely encourage all of you to read all of it because I think it's worth it. It delves into a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah. Guys, what's your dick rating?
Daza go, Daza go.
Oh yeah, Yoku called last already.
Yeah.
Did he? See, I liked it. I thought it was really good. I really liked the manga. It was really enjoyable. It was a great coming of age story, and I thought the pacing was just quite nice. Was quite. I can't think of a word for that. I'm trying to think of a pun, but I can't think.
I thought you were just like.
I know. I thought you were
No, I
brain
just couldn't think of
farting.
anything. I'm just like, I had a word, but now it's gone.
It's gone forever.
Yeah, it had lots of substance. It was really good. It was really enjoyable. I loved the characters. All of them I enjoyed as a character. Didn't like their personalities all too much, but their growth as characters were fantastic. And I can't believe someone's got such a bright penis. I mean, seriously, whenever it was masturbating, it was just like light shining out.
It did glow a lot.
You
I
should
don't
get
know
that
how more
checked.
people weren't aware.
You know, it's funny. He's in the toilet, right? And his penis is glowing like bright white light. You think the girls would notice when they walked in if they saw him? Just saying.
Just saw his
His
penis
most
glow.
Yeah, the penis glow. They'd be like, "What's that glow coming out?" He'd be like,
under the stall.
Hey,
it'd
it's
just
my
be
penis glow.
like angels singing, going like.
"You've got his pants opens and it's like."
The Hallelujah chorus is just constantly playing in the background.
Yeah.
All these beams of light.
Hallelujah. Yes.
He does the hand motions to the music. Hallelujah. Anyway.
Yes. Yep.
But in saying all my enjoyment, the art I thought wasn't fantastic, and I honestly wanted it to go a little bit longer. I thought the ending was a bit abrupt, personally. Like, the epilogue ending was a bit abrupt. I thought they could have expanded on that a little bit, and it would have been a lot more interesting to see how their relationship played out. So
It kind of does.
I'm a bit sad about. Well, I know there's I know there's
a two-chapter
another
light
manga.
novel.
Yeah, there's another thing, but in terms of the manga itself, I thought it could have been played out a bit longer. And like even going to high school, like would have been interesting to see what other people thought of him as well. You know, and how
Like
his
minus that
transition
time skip,
stuff.
just add some chapters between the time skip.
Yeah, just like 1 or 2, 3 or 4, 5 or 6.
Sorry.
So I saw that just then. The ending came prematurely. Yes.
Punt intended.
Yes, it did.
Good job.
Yep.
I like him. He's cool. So yeah, for that, I'm gonna give it really quite a ranked 7.5 out of 10.
Nice.
Because I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fantastic, but there were some points which I thought took away from it. Like if this came out in a proper release, like not as a doujinshi, but as a proper release with perfect art, and maybe having like maybe an editor there or something to maybe help clean it up a bit, I thought it would be absolutely amazing. But as we've got this thing that's just all over at the moment that could be polished up just a tiny bit. My enjoyment though is like 9.5, so you're gonna love it. It's gonna be fantastic. But
Yeah.
an erect 7.5.
Correct. 7.5.
Yeah.
Now, the only way that Yoku can go along with us would be if he gave it either a 6.5 or a 10.5.
I know, that's what I was
So we
thinking.
went 9.5, then 8.5, then 7.5. So Yoku, are you gonna complete our almost flush?
Oh,
Almost
this manga sucked. 6.5.
Yay!
Flush!
No, 6.5 is still better than average though. So
It is.
Sure.
It is.
let's go by IGN scale.
Yeah, but real ratings. Okay, quick thoughts. This is like I said, my second time reading it. I read it a couple years back. I was just getting into manga. I read like the big three and stuff, but this is like one of the first manga that I read, and I read it in one sitting as well. And I was just like, holy crap! So this is manga. There's more to it, because usually I've read like the shonen stuff. That's pretty much all I read at that point. So I enjoyed it a lot the first time, and I gave it an 8 out of 10 the first time I read it. And surprisingly, I actually give it a higher score this time. I actually enjoyed it more knowing, even though I already knew what was going to happen, but I wasn't 100% clear what was going to happen. Like the whole part with Takigawa getting together with Broccoli Head, like I completely forgot that, like since the first time I read it. And when I was reading that, I was like, oh my gosh, now I remember. This is kind of cool. So it was kind of like I actually enjoyed it more. Maybe because I understood the story a little bit more since I already read a little bit more psychological stories. So that kind of advanced my enjoyment level, kind of brought up the level a bit, and I kind of looked into it more in deeply. And probably MangaPod itself helped me enjoy it more, because usually when I would read a manga, I would read it and be like, yeah, cool manga, here's rating, my anime lives by. But now it's we sit here and talk about all these deep stuff that I wouldn't really think as much. So thank you guys.
Aww.
So right now,
Yucky!
So right now, I'd probably give it a 9 out of 10. It was really good. Even though I disagree, but at the same time, I agree with Daz about the art. Like I said, I really enjoy the art of how it built the atmosphere. So I really like that. But at the same time, I do gotta agree that it does need a little bit of cleanup. It wasn't perfect, because of course this guy didn't have really a budget or anything, because this guy is just doujinshi. Who knows? Maybe he just did it on his own or whatever. But he has actually a couple other series.
I think it was the writer and the artist were a team. It was two people. Yeah,
it was. I'm just looking at that right now. But yeah, it was really good, and I'm really glad that you guys liked it as well, because even though I liked it the first time when I read it, it's been years. So like kind of recommending it, I was kind of worried since I kind of forgot some stuff, and I'm just like, what if this is gonna be so weird and people like this is what he recommends on his birthday, like what the But it was good. I would have probably given it a perfect 10, even though not really a 10, I guess a 9.9. I would have given it a 9.9 if it wasn't for the beginning. Like I think they could have condensed that a little bit, because it's kind of hard to get into, especially if you're reading for the first time. It will be a little bit hard to get into, especially if you've never read. Well, what else can you read like this? Like,
if not for MangaPod, I probably wouldn't have read the whole thing.
yeah, you would like read the first 5 pages and you'd be like,
yeah, which is why I didn't give it a higher score. I was like, if I had been on my own, if I wasn't required to read all of it, I would have gotten a couple of chapters in and be like, this isn't my bag.
Yeah.
And I would have stopped,
Right.
you know?
You would
But it
think
wound up being...
some like hentai doujinshi.
Yeah.
That's what you would think. That's
yeah.
what it
Oh,
looked
totally.
like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it being that, and then also completely being unpredictable, especially the first time when I read it, it's unpredictable stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's so unpredictable, I forgot some stuff. That when I read it again, I was like, oh my god.
I will admit, like, what I normally do for MangaPod is I read half of it, then read the other half in the morning. Like read half it the night before, then read half in the morning before we do this. I will admit that I read this like completely through that night, because I got up to like halfway.
Oh, really?
Like, most of the way through.
Yeah,
and it was just like, crap, I need to keep going. So I stayed up later and read it, and I was just like, oh, cool. Oh wow, Pokemon Bank's out.
I was gonna. Oh, sorry. Go, Yoka.
Oh, go ahead. I'll finish after you.
I was just gonna say I was going to read half of it last night and then the other half at lunch today, and then last night I was just breezing through and I was reformatting my computer at the same time, and I would stop and just cry and then work on my computer and then like read more and then cry. So I agree, like it hooked me, like I couldn't stop reading it.
Yeah.
So what Masturbation Master does to you.
Masturbation Master just grips me.
I also like that the
grips me in
chapters
my happy
make you cry.
places.
Right,
My
yep.
heart.
Grips you hard,
My
Erin.
heart.
Grips you very hard.
My heart.
I was trying to read it in bed, and at like chapter 6, I was like, all right, and fell asleep. And then in the morning, like, it was kind of nice that way, because at night I got to read all of the ones where I was like, okay, I kind of see where this is going. And then today I read the rest of it, and I was like, oh yeah, okay, cool, dope.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It probably brought up your it lowered your expectations. So when you actually read it the next day, you were just like, "What?"
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting to like blast through it the way I did, because I did wind up getting hooked, but it wasn't immediate at all.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it wasn't until like chapter like 10 or so, 10 or 15.
Yeah, it's in the
range.
teens.
It's
Somewhere in the teens.
Yeah. Yeah. So what was you gave it a 9, right, Yoko?
Awesome. 9 out of 10, both rating and enjoyment. It could have been higher, but.
Yeah.
It had flaws. It
It
did
have flaws. I agree. Yeah, it had flaws. Awesome. So we highly, highly recommend going and checking out Masturbation Master or Onani Master Kurosawa.
Kurosawa.
I just had an entire podcast about it, and I can't remember his name.
Quick read, 4 volumes, 31 chapters, like really short chapters.
It's really quick. Yeah.
Breeze through it.
Oh gosh, dang it! Why is that a thing? I tried to go to reddit.com/r/MangaPod, and
And you went to MangaPod instead?
No, I went to MangaPoo, which doesn't exist.
Okay.
Look at that.
I don't know why.
Now that's gone.
I don't know why that is the automatic fill-in for my thing. But yeah, so we highly recommend reading this. You guys, we're also very, very sad that Holden couldn't join us tonight, but he tweeted that he was sad and he missed us, but he also had a good class, so good for him. And hopefully he'll be able to join us sometime in the future. We will still love to have him. Next week, we are... the fucking Holden. Goddamn Holden.
Damn, guys, come on.
No, Holden's great.
He's really great.
No, we love Holden.
Yeah. So next week we are going to be reading Mirai. No, just kidding. We should
God damn it.
Now you all know.
Every week.
What are we reading?
Every week.
What are we reading?
Hey, do not give me that shit. Not every week.
We do it nearly every week.
We do it nearly every week, but I don't mess it up every week.
No, he means like we do this like secret.
Okay, well, whatever.
Oh, Erin does a good job by not messing up every week. It's just this week.
Thank you, guys.
This doesn't happen very often.
Thank you.
Yeah, Dazza.
Getting on my balls.
Leave her alone.
Leave Erin alone.
Leave Erin alone.
Anyway, guys, we don't know what we're reading next week. Go ahead, Dazza.
Yeah, Dazza, you should let everybody know what we're reading next week, but without letting them know what we're reading next week so they can guess.
Middle school second year, Amano Yukiteru, a boy who has problems making friends. He thinks of himself as a bystander and will always write down everything he sees in his cell phone diary. Tormented by solitude, Yukiteru began to imagine things like a friend called Deus Ex Machina, who is apparently the Lord of Time and Space.
Oh!
He must be a Time Lord. Seeing Yukiteru's miserable state, Deus gives him a new ability. His diary will now record events that will happen in the near future. Yukiteru was then forced to participate in a game whose winner will become Deus's successor.
Let me guess.
And now for some reason the
is that
things in my
Miraniki?
head now.
Is that Miraniki? Let me guess. Is that?
No,
is that
it's not. We're actually reading Kiss Exist next week.
I knew it. That was my second guess. Kiss Exist is. We shouldn't read Kiss Exist.
Why?
We're
doing it for
Kiss
April.
We're gonna read it. It's already
doing
gonna
it.
happen.
Yeah.
It's on the list.
This
scheduled
is
in.
what happens when you don't come to scheduling meetings.
Yeah, I was kind of there.
No, he came. He was just real
Oh, that's
drunk.
right. You were drunk.
No, my internet was out.
No, your internet was out and you were drunk.
Yeah, I was gonna say you were in that call, sir.
I remember because that's the night you added me on Facebook. I will always remember that.
Yeah, I was drunk. That wasn't drunk.
That's right. I
And
woke
like,
up to
all
just
the
like
pictures,
so
and
many
I'm just
Facebook
like,
posts.
Guys, seriously.
Yes, so next week we are finishing off Mirai Nikki because we already did the first half of it for Halloween. We read the first half for Halloween, and this time we're reading it for Valentine's Day.
That makes
Of course,
sense.
Valentine's Day. It's perfect.
Every single one of those holidays. And we are going to have a special guest next week. Jean from Anime Appraisal is going to be joining us once again. Really
Hey.
excited to have her. We love her. She was here for
Bloody
Bloody
Monday,
Monday.
Bloody
Yes.
Monday.
So, yeah, so we're super excited to have her next week. Everybody should be looking forward to that because it's going to be awesome. And remember that next week we will be on youtube.com/HappiLeeErin is where the podcast will be hosted next week. So, let's go ahead and shout out our stuff super duper fast, shall we? Shall we?
Yeah.
Go.
I'm your host, Erin of HappiLeeErin. My YouTube channel is youtube.com/HappiLeeErin. I do anime reviews, and I do Kuroko no Basuke episode reviews, and I do first impressions of different series that come out each season, and I also do a bunch of mental health awareness stuff, and all of the previous manga pods are hosted on there. And also, I have started doing more friendly anime discussions with lovely people. I did one with Yokurama this past weekend that will be going up later this week, so look forward to that. They're super duper fun, and I love doing them, and you guys seem to really like them, so they're really, really fun. If you want to find me on any other social media stuff, you can find me as HappiLeeErin all over the place. Hummingbird.
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 That should be a thing. That's a good name for a site. Hummingbird.
Oh.
Wow.
Inappropriate, Daza.
No, that was awesome.
I was waiting for you to finish, but you didn't finish.
I'm done now.
She kept talking about hummingbird.
Hummingbird. Find Daza, I'm done. There you go. I'm HappiLeeErin everywhere. Oh, also really fast.
Yes.
If you guys have any MangaPod moments you would like to see in our MangaPod highlight reel, tweet them with the hashtag MangaPod, because that is going to be going up next week for our 1-year anniversary. So there's a bunch in there already, so it's likelihood that one you request is probably already in there, but still send them anyway just in case it isn't. And if you can remember any specific moment where Brooke burped, please send me that timestamp. Please don't just say every episode, because I've scrolled through 32 episodes and I can't find one because they're hour-and-a-half long episodes and there's 32 of them. Or there's actually 40. There's 40 of them.
There's 42 of them.
So if you have any
Dodger,
timestamp.
Dodger, just burp now.
I can't.
No, it's not like, it just got... Good.
Oh,
I'm
there we
using
go.
it.
Good fake.
If you guys don't send me a timestamp, that's what's happening. That's going in there.
Don't worry,
So yeah,
guys.
go ahead and send that with the hashtag MangaPod so that we can get those in there. So that's that thing.
I'm Dodger. YouTube.com/press heart to continue, where I do gaming stuff. And every Saturday I do a news show, and it's very fun. And then I also have youtube.com/dexterity bonus, where I vlog every day for about 10 minutes and drink coffee and talk about stuff and show you my cats, and it's good. It's good times. On all of the social medias, I am DexBonus, DEXBONUS. And no, I haven't signed in and changed anything on my hummingbird since the live stream. So
Your hummingbird.
my hummingbird is the same.
The same board.
Your hummingbird is boring at the moment.
So
is that what you're saying?
far, actually, I just managed to log in. So far, I've still only watched a shameful 14 days of anime, which we all know is not true.
Is that all?
You've only watched 14
Only 14,
days.
really?
I know. Isn't that sad? It's because I only have
Actually,
18
just-
No
Anime
credibility.
is straight anime,
No
that's
credibility anymore.
I know.
I have months and months and months clocked in.
I really don't think I have that many because I can't remember half the ones I watched. It's really
I know. All.
It's good that I had on my anime list since 2007.
I know. I hardly ever used my anime list. I don't know why I pushed to it. I never use it. So maybe you guys just ignore it. Then I say that I have my anime list.
Don't add me on my anime.
Don't add me on there.
Hummingbird for the win.
Hummingbird for the win.
Hummingbird.
Birthday boy.
Oh, it's my turn already? Okay. Hi. It's my birthday was like 3 or 4 days ago or something.
Oh, I thought you
Wait,
said pie. And I was like,
pie? Pie?
yeah,
Ooh.
that's my thought. I was confused.
I wouldn't mind some pie, but
Some pie.
too bad no pie.
I
Just
didn't eat pie today. That was
Pie?
nice.
American
Eat
pie.
pie?
Pie.
Was it American pie? Okay, shut up, man. Yeah, it was my birthday 4, 5, 6 days ago or something like that, and I turned 22, so I'm old now. I'm not just a 21-year-old anymore. Like, I'm past that age. Not like Daza.
So old.
Yunning.
You yunnin'.
All right. my YouTube channel is youtube.com/Yokorama Game Talk, where I do not talk about games, I just talk about anime most of the time, which is like all the time, I mean. And I also have a couple other channels, but you can just check the channel box and also subscribe to everybody, I guess, in my channel box as well, because they're all cool. Yeah. And my other stuff, main social medias, I guess. Twitter is probably my main one, at Yokorama Talks. I tweet a lot. I reply to a lot of stuff. If it's funny, I'll retweet it. So yeah, think of something funny and tweet me.
Tweet him just jizz.
I probably won't retweet that. I probably won't retweet.
What? Come on.
Hashtag jokes, and then it's hilarious.
Then that makes sense.
Because it's a joke.
If it's a hashtag.
Hashtag community, hashtag the office, at Michael Scott.
Just the office.
Just the office.
or hey, send HappiLeeErin or add HappiLeeErin otter pictures.
Yeah, you should
She'll
definitely do that.
retweet those. She'll definitely retweet those.
Oh yeah, I will.
Denko
And,
faces.
Get
Denko
out,
faces.
No,
get that out.
don't send her Denko
Denko
faces.
face.
Listen, guys, if you send me Denko faces, I will retweet every single one of those, so you will all have Denko faces.
Oh, man.
So that's
Go.
that
That's
is
correct.
your thing.
I will make it even easier for you.
You're gonna put it in the chat, aren't you?
All right, let me finish. All right, and I have other stuff. I have a Tumblr where I just reblog a bunch of anime stuff. I'll probably be reblogging a lot of cute stuff because it's Valentine's Day. No, but and also Hummingbird, just Yokorama, and I think everywhere else is Yokorama. If it's not Yokorama, try Yokorama Talks. If neither of those work, then I'm just not on there.
Also, Yokorama Russian.
That's not a thing.
Yeah, and Yokorama Russian.
He's definitely
Go subscribe.
Russian, isn't he?
What is that?
What?
Yeah, I am Russian. That's it.
Awesome.
That's me. That's me
Alright.
on the internet.
Alright, and I just want to say before I shout out my stuff, apparently someone is quite sad that we didn't jizz in our pants.
Jizz in my pants.
Just
There
I
we go.
open the window when the breeze rolls in, and I jizz in my
Jizz in my pants. There we go.
Okay, I'm done.
Happy
That's all
now?
my favorite
That-
line.
happily.
Perfect face.
I happily did that.
Lol.
All right, what?
Hi, I am the Dr. Daz from Fine for Nippon. You can find me at youtube.com/FineForNippon, where I do anime reviews, top videos, what we've watched, a weekly show where we talk about what we've been watching in the week, and you guys can join in too. What else? What else do I do? I do first impressions. I do other stuff, and it's all fun and games until someone loses
Gets her.
a penis.
Loses a
Right.
penis.
I also have
Yes.
loses a penis. It's not fun. I'm also on youtube.com/TheDrDazzler, where I'm going to be posting other stuff. I tried to record stuff for that the other day, and that failed, sadly.
Aww.
So I wasn't too happy about that. But that stuff will be coming on there soon, and yeah, it'll be awesome. You can also find me on Twitter at Dr. Dazzler. You can find me on Tumblr, Dr. Dazzler. Hummingbird is Dr. Dazzler. Justin TV is the Dr. Dazzler.
Whoa.
Don't find me in Justin TV. Don't add me on there.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Yeah, don't add me on Justin TV. I'm not going to be doing anything.
It's Yokorama with a 0.
Yeah.
His next bonus with a 0.
Dex bonus with a 0.
That's how we roll. Just add a
That's how we
0.
do.
But yeah,
That's how we
so have fun. I don't know.
Yeah. Everybody should go and click, just really quick before we sign off, go and click on the video link that I posted in the chat. Just really fast. You know, everyone knew. So, if you want more...
No! What the fudge, man?
What is it?
It's my birthday present to Yoku.
Oh. You should
I was
I can't...
I'll watch it later.
That's like 4 years ago almost, right? Shut up. Man.
I love it so much. It's my favorite thing. I can't link it. Somebody link it to Dodger and Skype. I can't close the thing or it'll mess up our pictures.
I'll do it.
Yeah, send it to me in Skype.
So good. So good. If you want more MangaPod, you can check us out at reddit.com/r/MangaPod, where we have the schedule for the upcoming weeks. We have people that post We have a recommendation thread for you to post recommendations for future manga you would like to see, and you can also find all of our social media links there. We also have an iTunes. The link to that is in the subreddit. It's a really long link, so I don't know. I can't say it, so you can go ahead and look at that. I think you can also search for MangaPod Book Club in the iTunes store and be able to find that. So, did you watch it?
Yeah.
That's not me. That's the real Arnold. I just invited him over.
Yeah, I figured. It sounded just like him.
Thank you guys so much for joining us for the Masturbation Master Manga Pod. We really appreciate having you join us.
Thanks for coming along.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
coming.
Come again.
Come again. Come again next
now
week where we'll be
Beat it.
Just beat it.
Now beat it. Now beat
Beat
it.
it.
So come again. Now beat it.
Come again and beat it.
That's how we should end. That's
Oh,
it.
well,
That's good. It's perfect. It's a wrap.
That's a wrap. I have to shout out what we're doing. Next week we'll be at youtube.com/HappiLeeErin. I almost said r/HappiLeeErin. It's all messed up. We'll be at youtube.com/HappiLeeErin. We'll be reading Mirai Nikki, doing part 2, reading the rest of it, volume 7 through 12, chapters 27 through 59. We'll also be joined by the lovely Jean for that. We'll be there at 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We'll be tweeting the links and stuff, so make sure to follow us all on Twitter so you can get updates with that and reminders about what we're reading and all sorts of pretty things. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We love you. Bye.
Bye.
Perfect.
Good. Hang on. Gotta hit the button. I gotta hit the button. Good.